you live from the beautiful Grand Prince Odeon here in downtown Winters, California. We've got a great service ahead, so thank you for being here. Let's get things going with a little wires and extra number. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing love today. Compassion. I choose compassion today. I choose compassion today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I choose compassion today. Joy. I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing joy today. Abundance. I choose abundance today. I choose abundance today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I choose abundance today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today.
All right. Good morning. Oh. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Here we are at this wonderful, hot morning in July. And welcome, welcome, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Yolo. My name is Reverend David Clark. I'm the senior minister. And I want to tell you from our entire community, thank you for being here and welcome. So, man, it has been a morning, and I'm glad that we're talking about speaking truth to consequence, truth to circumstance, rather. All month this month, we're speaking truth to circumstance as we deal with our own circumstances. So this is very relevant, what we're talking about today. I want to,
And all week.
Yes, and all week. I want to say a special thank you. We've got a wonderful service lined up for you. We have a very special musical guest. His name is Matt Dunn. And Matt Dunn has done it all. He is an actor. He's a singer. He's a dancer. He is he's a multi-talented...
Realtor.
Yeah, he's a realtor, for crying out loud. I mean, he does it all. So and the thing that he does most excellently, in my opinion, is sing. And he's going to share that gift with us today. So welcome, Matt. So here we are. If you're new to this philosophy and you're kind of wondering what I get into by coming in here, well, we study science of mind. And science of mind is a spiritual movement. It's a text, but it's also a spiritual movement that's focused on the power of the mind to shape your experience. So what we do is we partner with God through our minds, and that knowing shapes the reality that we see out in front of us. So we have the ability to create our own good. We have our ability to see love where we choose to see it. So this is a very powerful philosophy. So it's all about belief. So what do we believe? Well, we believe four main things here at Center for Spiritual Living Yolo. Number one, we believe that love is all there is. Everything is a call for love, an expression of love, a realization of love, a product of love. Love is what it's all about. So we pay attention to where we are applying our love in this philosophy. Also, we believe that all thought is creative and influential. Thoughts are things. Everything that you see around you has been preceded by thought. The clothes on your back, this beautiful sanctuary that we're sitting in, existed first in someone's mind. And that is the birthplace of all creation, mind. So we pay a lot of attention to what we're thinking and what we're believing about ourselves in the world in this philosophy. So, number three, we believe that you are whole, perfect, and complete, exactly as you are right now. Exactly as you are right now. You are whole, perfect, and complete. How do we know this? We come from a whole, perfect, and complete source that only creates whole, perfect, and complete things. You are one of those things. You are a product of God. So that is the first thing that we know about you. We look at you, we know that you're whole, perfect, and complete. We believe this about ourselves, and we believe this about each other. Number four, we believe in a world that works for everyone, and we're working from that world together. Even though it may not appear to be working for everyone in the best way, the world has always operated on cause and effect and love and law. And these things have always been in place and have always been tools that we can use. We are just learning how to use them so that we can make this world work for us and work for good and work for peace and work for love. So that's what we believe. And now it's time for our Namaste time, the time where we can take advantage of our perspective of seeing wholeness, perfection, and completeness in each other. And we can do that by recognizing the God within, which is what we do with Namaste. So let's take a few minutes and Namaste. 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 Beautiful. Everybody right now, just do me a favor. Take a deep breath and let it out with a sigh. Okay. I just wanted to absorb all the love that was just shared in the room, and that's my way of doing it. So please welcome today's practitioner of the day, Bobby Bolden. She's going to share with us our vision, mission, and today's affirmation. Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, hi. I will read today's vision statement, mission statement, and our affirmation. And I will ask you to repeat them. After I read one of them, I'll ask you to repeat it. It will be up here, and you can read it also. So, the CSL Yolo vision statement. Our vision is to create an environment for all to realize the power of spiritual connection. Right, so let's all say that. Our vision is to create an environment for all to realize the power of spiritual connection. And now our mission statement. Our mission is to provide a sanctuary for all to be lifted and inspired to embody spiritual principles and live their inherent greatness. Now let's read that one. Our mission is to provide a sanctuary for all to be lifted and inspired to embody spiritual principles and live their inherent greatness. Okay, great. And now we have our affirmation for today. I stand in the power of wholeness of spirit that I am. Please stand. Let's say this like we mean it, all right? I stand in the power and wholeness of spirit that I am. One more time. I stand in the power and wholeness of spirit that I am. Thank you. You may be seated. And now we have our announcements for today, and they will be given by Heather Flores, member of our board. Board treasurer, really? Ah.
Thank you, Bobby, and good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We do have some announcements. The Gratitude Group is led by June Robinson, and the mission of the Gratitude Group is to uplift our lives through an ever-increasing sense of gratitude for Spirit's presence throughout our lives. In this group, we explore the very nature of gratitude and its many gifts through study, discussion, and fellowship. It meets the second Thursday of every month from 4:30 to 5:30, and the next meeting will be on August 10th at the Davisville Apartment Community Room, and that's at 1221 Kennedy Place in Davis. And then we have Crush MS, which is coming up on July 29th. It's presented by the Reed Family Vineyards in Napa. If anyone you know or love has struggled with multiple sclerosis, please consider attending this wonderful fundraising event. Crush MS was created by two small Napa Valley family wineries, the Reed Family Vineyards and Counterpunch Wines, both families touched by a loved one with MS. In 2014, they teamed up to create the organization Crush MS. Also, both families are members of our sister community, Napa Valley CSL. This event brings wineries from all over the Napa Valley together to raise funds, bring awareness, and hopefully bring us closer to a world free of MS. Over the years, Crush MS has grown, hosting 30+ wineries, having great food, music, and an auction to round out the day. The money raised goes to research at Stanford University and to a community support group for those who have MS and their caregivers. We have hosted as many as 400 guests at the event. Check out the website, crushms.org, for full details, pictures, sponsors, and tickets. Please consider joining the fun. And then we have the forgiveness class. It's going to be on next Thursday, July 27th at 6 p.m. Jason Gerardo will be facilitating another free online event for our community. It is about forgiveness, and Jason will take the participants through a process called Ho'oponopono, a Hawaiian huna process of forgiveness. It lasts 35 minutes, and you can get more information about that, including where to find us online at www.onepathcoaching.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. As we enter into the more contemplative portion of our service today, let's do a little song by Karen Drucker called I Have Faith.
Choose faith. I am faith. I have faith.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm going to read the sacred readings for today. First one. The greatest thing is, at any moment, to be willing to give up who we are in order to become all that we can be. That's Max Dupree as quoted by Edwin Gaines in The 4 Spiritual Laws of Success. And the second one. When you choose your divine purpose, you are framing your life with meaning. You are also taking an important step in your spiritual development to just demonstrate to yourself that you have the power to affect change, that you are bigger, stronger, and more powerful, and more creative than you thought. This is also from Edwin Gaines, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Success.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you. It's now time for us to turn within for prayer. So I just invite you to take a deep breath in, close your eyes and lower your gaze. Take another breath. And another. Become very relaxed in your seats. So this morning, as I turn within, I speak a word of gratitude for this beautiful, warm morning. Grateful for the sky, the sun, and the moon. Grateful for all who are here today. Grateful for the sanctuary. And in this place of gratitude, I am remembering the truth. I am remembering the truth that God is all there is. There's only this infinite presence that I call God, that we may call the Christ consciousness, that we may call Buddha, that we may call Muhammad, that we may call Allah, that we may call Great Spirit, that we may call Mother Earth. The all-knowing, the all-supportive, the all-giving intelligence. This is all there is. It is a one presence, the one activity, and the one power in the universe known as omniscience, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniactive. Yes, this presence is moving into and around everything. It is every tree, every flower, every bush, the stars, the moon, the sun, the ocean, the seas. This is all God. God is everything that exists. God is every car, every truck, every sound of music, the wind, the breeze. God is the technology that we deal with our computers and our internet. God is all of this. There is nothing that exists in this universe that is not of God, that is not made from God. And so as I say this, I know too that I am of God, that I am made of the same stuff that God is made of. That every muscle and cell, fiber of my being is of God. From the top of my head to the tips of my toes and my fingers and my heart and my lungs Oh, in my legs, in my body, I am of God. I am made of the same stuff. We are one. There is no separation. And just as I am one with God, I know that each one of you here is made of the same stuff. We are all expressions of God. Each person who is here now, each person who is on their way, each person who is not here yet, every chair that is empty, it is all God. And so there's no separation. And I am just so excited about this, knowing that God is flowing into and around everything, flowing into and around this room that we're in, flowing into and around every light. Oh, the carpet, the chairs. We are all made of the same stuff. And as I remember this truth, as I stand in this truth, I speak a word of blessing today. I bless everyone who came here early to set up for our service. I bless everyone who has come here today to listen to the words. I bless our musicians, Matt and Billy. Oh, I know that the sounds that they bring to us fall on our hearts and on our ears and lift us and vibrate through our beings and make this service just perfect. I bless our ushers and our greeters. I bless all who came to set up the space. Oh, I bless our ushers through the week. I bless our readers. I bless our announcers. Yes, we are all blessed today, and I know that this blessing is coming from God, that God is in their bodies, that God is truly the anchor in their souls. And so as I bless everyone else here, I bless our Reverend David Clark. I know that he is being guided today, that the very guidance of spirit is operating through his body, through every muscle and fiber of his body, and through his voice and through his tongue, that every word that comes from his mouth is a word of God, and he allows God to speak through him, for he is divinely ordained to bring us this message today. And I know that this message is a message of love, a message of peace, a message of joy, a message of wholeness. I know that this message is a message of wisdom. So as we listen to this message of wisdom today, I invite us to just open our hearts and our ears and say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, thank you. I know all is well. And please join me in closing this prayer with our African words, Ashe. Ashe. With our Native American words, Aho. And with our Judeo-Christian words, Amen. And with our Saint Germain words, and so it is.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable throne, to bear with unbearable sorrow, and to rise the brave dare not go to right the unrightable wrong, and to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into heaven for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest, and the world will be better for this than one man scorned and covered with scars has strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star.
The mighty Matt Dunn, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, awesome, awesome. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. So how was last week's home play? You didn't think I was going to ask you about that. Seeing God in everyone. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today. That's gonna come up.
My cat ate it.
Your cat, our cat ate your homework. So we're speaking truth to circumstance all month. And what does that mean, truth to circumstance? Well, we've been talking about it. We are speaking the truth of God, the truth that God is in every circumstance. So we've got an inside track on all conditions that we encounter, because God is within us. So if God is within us, and God is within the situation, the condition, the circumstance, well, then we have some inroad to make fixes, to make changes, to do things about it. So that is the truth that we're talking about all month. This week, we're talking about being the wise warrior. And I'm going to set this aside. Trying to get a little bit more free.
There you go.
And untethered. Well, I'm going to refer to my notes, but we're going to try this out a little bit more. So, the wise warrior. We're all warriors, right? This is a warrior culture that we're in. We are forever talking about war. Sports, right? Football, if there's anybody that appreciates football. Bengals, right? Raiders. All right, got another Raider fan back there. We're always talking about war. Going to battle, going to war on the gridiron, right? Playing this game is war. We talk about war in our politics. Elections, battleground states. It's always a thing that comes back to war and fighting. What else we got here? In business, I had a VP on every in my other job. In every meeting, he would talk about our evil thinking competitors.
Yes.
Our evil thinking competitors. So that's the competition. So he's always talking about going to battle with the competition. And in business, it's apt. You're competing a lot. So we bring war into our social issues as well. War on drugs. War on poverty. We're always declaring war on something. On our interpersonal relationships. Our friendships. Our grudges. Anybody got any grudges? No. No? Not a one? Okay. It's all right if you do. It's part of our culture. It's baked in that we are fighters. And we're always fighting for good. For our good. The problem with the warrior culture is that we treat everything like it's a war. And we don't want to go to war every single moment of every single day. War is serious business. It's got terrible consequences. I mean, war in its truest sense, I'm just going to run down some of the highlights of war. Loss of life, physical injuries, psychological trauma, displacement of refugees, destruction of infrastructure, economic impact, hunger, famine, environmental damage, disruption of education and health care, we got political instability. Who wants to introduce all of these things into our lives on a daily basis? But as we enter into our conflicts with our dukes up, ready to go to war, as warriors, we're prepared to go here, to go with all this loss of life, the physical injuries. We're prepared to get very uncomfortable and dirty in our war in order to win. Because that's the most important thing when you go to war, is to win. So, if we go into all of our conflicts realizing that we're going to do anything to win, we're going to have a scorched earth policy, we can roast whoever we need to roast in order to bring that victory home. That is not a constructive path. The way of the warrior is not the way of building anything up. It's chaos, destruction, and pain. That's what war is. So, when we take up arms and we go to war in our personal lives, this is what we're also inviting in. We're inviting in the exhilaration of the fight and all of that chaos, destruction, and pain. So we've got to be wise warriors. We can't go into every conflict willing for scorched earth and to do everything that it takes to win. We have to redefine what it means to win. And so that's what we're talking about today. How do we become wise warriors? The Greek philosopher, I got slides for y'all. The Greek philosopher, Platon. You know, I practiced this name probably about 50 times throughout the week. I'm like, get this name right, Dave, get this name right. And as soon as I go to give it to you guys, Plotinus, yes? Okay, Plotinus. Plotinus said, I do not argue, I contemplate. And as I contemplate, I let fall the seeds of thought into the mirror of mind, which then becomes the mirror of matter. I don't know when Plotinus said that, but I think it was sometime before Ernest Holmes. I think. But he's talking about the thing that we study here all the time. Our thoughts, our beliefs from our mind fall into the mirror of mind, which becomes the mirror of matter, and then things start to happen. things start to materialize from those thoughts. So, what are we contemplating? What are we putting into the mirror of mind that will become the mirror of matter? As religious scientists, we know that there is one power in and around and making up everything. And no matter how displeasing the outside world may seem, we can always be certain that there is a divine presence. And so we have to commit to seeing things differently. The wise warrior takes a step back and centers themselves prior to entering the fray. Now, as a parent, I can tell you, when there is a fray going on with my kids, when my kids were little, running around on the playground, right? And then I'd see there's dust up, there's a conflict. Okay, someone's pushing my kid. So I put on my cape and I fly down to the location and, stop what's going on here. You two break it up and I break everything up. But when I get into the conflict, I'm not thinking about anything. My intention in the conflict is to save my child and protect them and to get this sorted out to where we know what's going on with this other kid that was hurting my kid. My intention is not to bring peace. As noble as it is, my intention isn't for peace. My intention is get the heck away from my kid. And so I enter into the conflict with this energy of defense and, what's going on here? And, I'm the dad. I'm his dad. That's right. So I go in with that kind of energy, even though it appears as though I'm an adult and I'm just breaking up two children. I've got an agenda. And that colors the way I talk to both kids. That colors the way I listen. That colors the decisions that I make moving forward. That colors my kindness that I need to express at all times, but I'm going to be a little less kind maybe to the kid that was hurting my kid. So I've got all of this agenda, yet I'm being a warrior. I'm going in, I'm fighting for my kids, I'm breaking things up, I'm resolving conflict. I'm doing everything that I think I should, but I don't have the right frame of mind, so I can't fully bring peace to the situation. Maybe we just leave the park. Maybe I just give that kid a hard look. I look for his parents, so I give them a hard look. Maybe I increase the conflict, but I don't want to increase the conflict. What I really want is peace. I want everybody to play on this playground in peace. I don't want any fighting going on between anyone. So I have to get my mind right before I enter into the fray. And that is what we all need to do. Get our minds right before we open our mouths and start getting involved. And how do we get our minds right? It gives us the opportunity to look past the appearance into the core reality of what's happening. God, an expression of God, facing off with another expression of God. God versus God within God. That's the reality of what's happening here. No matter what it looks like, that is what's happening first. It's God interacting with itself. And instead of, once we see that reality, that becomes one of those thoughts that falls into the mirror of our mind. That becomes the mirror of matter. So, seeing that it's just God, we can bring a different reality and a different energy into the situation. And oftentimes we can coax forward and shift the situation without having to have bloodshed, without having to go to war. You go into the situation knowing that you yourself represent peace and love, which you do. Every single one of you represents that. If you represent peace and love, then that is what is going to come out of your mouth. And that is the energy that you're going to share to the situation, to where you're not jumping in, choosing a side, and knuckling up. You're coming in from another perspective. You're coming in from the perspective of peace, of living, breathing peace. And that is what you can bring to the situation. So instead of getting angry, what we need to ask ourselves, what we need to contemplate, is what do I want to see here instead? What do I want to see instead of what I'm seeing, instead of what I'm experiencing? What do I want? Just like in that conflict, if I want peace, every move I make needs to be peaceful. I need to bring that peace. So contemplate, what is it that I want in this situation? And also, what is Spirit's highest idea? What is God's highest idea of the resolution of this conflict? And we step into that. Not into one side or the other. You step into the highest ideal that you can ponder as you contemplate the goodness of God. So, we don't want to make things worse. We want to make things better. So there is Aman Matwane, and this is another name that I'm really messing up, but I wanted to show him to you guys because he's got a couple of great books. You Can Change the World and Creating a World That Works for All. Within his book, You Can Change the World, he invites us to change how we see the world. We're invited to see the intrinsic worth of every person that we encounter. This alone can shift our interpersonal relationships. And the world is made of interpersonal relationships, is it not? He invites us to 3 focus practices. So this will be very interesting. So focus practice number 1. Focus not on how little time we have, but on how to make the most of what little time we have with every person. Have you ever met somebody at a party and you start talking, and you're talking, you make fast friends, and you're just like, we're talking, this is great. You're being peaceful, you're appreciating what that person is saying to you, that person is appreciating what you're saying, you're having a great exchange, and it feels great. It feels wonderful and peaceful and connected. Right? That is the feeling that I want to have in every interaction that I have with every single person that I encounter. I want to hear them. I want them to hear me. I want to appreciate them. I want to make the most out of my time. And when I'm feeling good, that is when I'm making the most out of my time. When I'm feeling good, when I'm feeling connected, feeling happy. Even if I have a short amount of time, I'm making the most of it. Focus practice number 2. Focus not on what you see on the outside of a person, but on the person within. See both the pain and potential within. And this can be a challenge if we're dealing with somebody that's acting ugly. If we're dealing with somebody that has an attitude, that snaps at you, that growls at you, snarls at you, What we're seeing when we see that, when we experience that person that is that rude individual, we're seeing something a little bit deeper than what that person is sharing with us. We're seeing that person's pain. It could be that that person just got done with an argument with their wife, and their marriage is failing, and they're upset, and now they're dealing with you. We don't know what circumstances are around people's behavior. We just have a sense of when someone's in pain. And that sort of pain usually makes for retaliation. You're going to be mean to, you're going to be rude to me, I'm going to be rude to you right back. Right? I'm not going to take that from you. I'll show you what rude is. But what we're seeing, the reality of what we're seeing is someone's pain. So what do we do? How do we respond to someone in pain? If someone came up to you and said, oh, my arm, it's hurting, you'd say, oh, well, let's sit down. Maybe there's something we can do with it. What's wrong with the pain? Do you need some ice? Do you need some heat? What do you need? Let's figure out how to relieve your pain. That's what we do, right? If someone came up and asked you for that, but someone's coming up and showing you that they are in pain. They may not be asking you to do something, but they're showing you that something is wrong. So how do we respond? With that same open heart? Let's help you. Let me not take what you're saying too seriously because I realize that you're in pain. Maybe take some of the sting off of the interaction. It's amazing what you can do when a person comes at you rude and you come at them with peace. It's transformative. It transforms them, it transforms this situation, and it transforms what's happening in here. Because nobody can stop you from loving. Nobody. No situation can force you to hurt somebody else. That's our choice. We choose to love, and we can choose love in any situation. Slide number 3. Focus number 3. Focus not on what's wrong with a person, but on what makes them right. See strength within their weakness. See strength within their weakness. There isn't a person walking around out there today, and I'm going to say something very controversial. There are no weak people. There are no weak people. It takes a tremendous amount of strength and energy and intelligence to maneuver through this world on a day-to-day basis. Given all the conditions that you are under, given your entire situation, think about the breadth of your lives. Think about where you came from. Think about what you overcame. Think about your long road to get right here. It's a story of strength and power. It's a story of resilience. It's a hero's journey. And each and every one of us is on it. So we can't look at somebody and say, that person's just weak. No, that person is responding to events that happened in their lives, and this is how they've learned to respond. There are no weak people. So, is it possible to see a strength in anyone? Yes, you can, because that strength is there. Just as much as God is there, just as much as you are there in that other person, their strength is also there. So we want to focus on the strength rather than the weakness. Because we can focus on the weakness because we can label anything as weak and we can say, I'm stronger than that, and that person's weak, and boom, separation, boom. No, we are one. So if I'm strong, the one is also strong. And we have a divine strength that we can rely on. The wise warrior, that is not their power. The wise warrior knows that it's not their power that creates change. In this third state of consciousness, we recognize that we are creators with the infinite. We're open to life happening through us. And I know you guys have heard this saying before, But I stopped telling God how big my problems are. I started telling my problems how big my God is. There is no problem that doesn't contain God that you can't join with and transform. And that's what we can do as a people. We must be the power of love, harmony, unity. And the good news is we don't have to become this because we already are that. The only thing that we need to do is remove everything, all the obstacles that say that we're not. All the things that say that you're weak, that you're less than, that you can't. We got to get rid of all that stuff. That is not our original default programming. Our default programming is love, strength, connection, power. That's our original default setting, is connection to God. So, I think I shared this story with you before about knowing who you are. And my kids coming to me and saying, oh, Billy's calling me a name. And me and my parental brilliance said, well, you know what? That's not who you are. And the kid was like, well, he did call me a name, and I hate when he calls me that. Well, look. Are you a giraffe? If somebody came up to you and said, you're a giraffe, would that make you upset? Would you get angry? Maybe. It depends on how you feel about giraffes. Billy doesn't like giraffes. So he would become very upset if you called him that. But most people would not mind. They would seek to correct what's going on with the person. It's like, I'm not a giraffe. Yeah, you are. You're a giraffe. No, I'm not. We need to come with the same energy when somebody says you're stupid. You're unworthy. You're never going to make anything of yourself. You're never going to succeed. We need to have that same energy like that person that just called us a giraffe. Because we know that that's not true. We know the truth of ourselves. We know that we're connected with God. We know the oneness that we all enjoy. That is the truth of our existence. So, let us not buy into this warrior kind of fantasy that we've got in our culture. The romanticized warrior that runs in and puts his dukes up and gets into the fray. We want to be just beyond the fray so we can contemplate peace and then apply that peace in every situation. So for your homework, if you run into conflict, for your home play this week, if you run into conflict, stop. You feel a conflict brewing, stop. And if you're in a relationship, that's very easy to do, because I don't know about you, but sometimes you can see a conflict coming. You can feel it in the air. There's something happening here. The person was a little bit sharp with me. I'm hearing something in the wind, and rather than go and get your armor, put it on, get ready for battle. You're not going to be rude to me. Instead of putting on your armor, take a moment, step back, and look at the situation. Look at the truth of the situation. Especially if you're in a relationship, because then you're dealing with somebody that you know loves you. Know the truth about them. Know the truth of who they are. And approach the conflict from that point of truth. What's wrong? What's going on? I feel like there's something happening. Is there something that you want to talk about? Enter in with love. And then do what love and peace dictate. Okay? So that's going to be tough, because a lot of times we're in the middle of the fray. Somebody cut me off on the freeway coming up here. And it kind of happens all the time. But this one was close. And even me, who drives with peace, Even me, it affected me. And I had to remind myself as I'm saying, you're going to get into an accident. I'm just knowing, I've got this conflict going. That's what you're going to do. You're going to drive off. You're going to get into an accident. What do I want to have happen? I don't want him to get into an accident. I don't want that. I want him to get to his destination safely. I don't want him to be hurt. I don't want him to hurt anyone else. That's the reality. So I'm not going to affirm that he's going to go out and hurt somebody and hurt himself and mess things up. I'm going to affirm that that is a child of God that I care about, that I want to get to their destination safely. And I'm going to bless them and I'm going to send them on their way. Because that's the world I want to live in. That's how I would want somebody to treat me. So that's what I do. So that is what that's what your homework is. So let's take that into prayer. Let's take a moment right now to just go inside. Inside to that place of peace. That place of love. To that place of stillness. And it is from this place, this beautiful place that lies within all of us, that we proclaim here and now that there is one spirit, one guide, one force, one consciousness, one mind. And this one great, beautiful mind is everything that we consider to be good. It is all of the divine principles in infinite measure. So I know that it is all peace, all power, all joy, beauty, love, light, wisdom. And as I know this about the one, I also know this about myself. I know that as part of the one infinite force, that I too have access to all the power, all the beauty, all the joy. It is all within me. It is my birthright as part of the one. That is what I get for walking through the doors of existence, is an eternal connection to God, an eternal connection to every one of God's creations. We are together in one. And so as this one, I know I have all the power that I need to pull back from confrontation, to contemplate. I have all of the power that I need. I have all the love that I need. I have all the wisdom that I need. I have everything I need to bring a measure of peace everywhere I go, into every situation, simply by knowing that I am connected to it, and it is connected to God, and we're all connected to each other. I apply this peace to all of my conflicts. I apply this peace to all conflict around the world. Because as each person embraces their power, embraces peace, embraces their ability to bring peace, the world becomes more peaceful, that much more peaceful. And I know that peace spreads because it's attractive and it's what everybody wants. And it is at hand. So I release these words. I release these words with gratitude. I release these words with giddy expectancy to see how they play out in my life. And let us all release these words with the knowledge that it is true and done for everyone. And let us release it with the words, and so it is.
Send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now today. This is the moment. This is the time when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this precious chance. I'll gather up my past and make some sense at last. This is the this is the day. See it sparkle and shine when all I've lived for becomes mine. For all these years I've faced the world alone, and now the time has come to prove to them I've made it on my own. This is the moment, my final test. Destiny beckoned, I never reckoned second best. I won't look down, I must not fall. This is the moment. When I look back, I will always recall, moment for moment, this was the moment, the greatest moment of them all.
Oh, Matt Dunn. Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you. Hope you come back soon. So it is now time for Charlie's blessing, but Charlie is not here. He's visiting his dad. So instead, he has sent us his selection. So I am going to read that, and it's up on the screen, and I'm going to read Charlie's blessing for us all right now. Love is about living the light that makes our heart shine like the sun. We need joy from spiritness for our minds and courage to be hopeful. We can heal from hurting with the joyful brightness of God's love, and life will change. Amen. All right. So we are a center that believes, or that practices, the spiritual practice of giving and tithing. We call it conscious, committed, and structured giving. And there are many ways to give and expand your abundance consciousness. We give of our time through volunteering, our service. We give of our talents through participation. And we give of our treasure through financial donations. Your gifts help us in our mission to provide a sanctuary for all to be lifted and inspired to embody spiritual principles and live their inherent greatness. Every month we have a tithing partner that we select an organization in our neighborhood, in our surrounding community that has goals and a mission that align with ours. And this month, for the month of July, we have chosen the Winters Mural Class Fund. I didn't have it on my notes here. The Winters Mural Class Fund. And if you travel through Winters, you can see murals on all the on many buildings. This is the fund that does that. Those buildings were painted by high school students under the direction of an expert muralist who lays it out. But he teaches these kids how to make these murals, and they're all hand painted by the kids. So that is what this supports, and hooray for the arts. We must support the arts. Oh my goodness. So that is who we're supporting. So as you give maybe a little bit more, knowing that we are sending part of our tithes to that deserving group. So there are many ways to give. You can text to give at 530-322-8441. You can use PayPal to donate. And our email address is info@csldavis@gmail.com. Or, and that's our former name. Or you can send us a good old-fashioned check or money order to CSL Yolo, P.O. Box 1361, Davis, California, 95617. So now that we know why to give and we know how to give, let us enter into that sacred consciousness of divine abundance. And I invite you to place your hand over your heart, symbolizing that vibrational energy of circulation. You feel your heart pumping away in there. And say with me our abundance affirmation. I give with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive. Today I celebrate my prosperity and my ability to share from my overflow of good. I give from the knowledge that all is well.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need.
their work of proclaiming the good news that all is well. As we have freely given, according to the law of circulation, it returns to us, full measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So we will always have more to enjoy and to spare, to give and to share. For this we give thanks. We let it be so, and so it is. So we just want to say thank you for your gifts. And we want to say to the children, we want to welcome the children that are here within us and the children that are on their way to us. The army of children and young families that are headed this way. It is happening right now. We want to say, we love you.
We love you.
We're here for you.
We're here for you.
And we're so glad you're here.
And we're so glad you're here.
All right. We believe in the power of connection at this center, the Center for Spiritual Living, Yolo. And so what does the power of connection mean? That means that we believe that we're connected to God and that we're also connected to each other. And that connection has power. And we exercise that power through prayer. One of those ways is through affirmative prayer. So we have 2 practitioners in the house today. Please, ladies, raise your hands. Hi. All right. We have 2 practitioners in the house today. If you need prayer, if you find yourself having a difficult time seeing God in your situation, if you're having a hard time speaking truth to circumstance, then please see one of us, me included, a prayer practitioner, so we can sit down and discuss with you and figure out and see how God is working His way out in your life. So, so join us for that. Also, we've got fellowship downstairs. We got wonderful fellowship and lots of food. So head down there and eat your fill. We're going to have fun and fellowship downstairs in the fellowship hall. So please join us after the service for that. And that is after our closing song and benediction, which we are going to have right now. So let's get in a big old circle.
Or a little
Whatever size circle.
This is big.
It's big and hard.
Yeah, big is relative, isn't it?
Right.
special lyrics.
This circle has an infinite size. Joy, and bring that everywhere you go. And always remember that God loves you. And so it is.
So it is.